Hello. Welcome to LadyGang. I am here with Jack Vanek and Kelty Knight, and I'm Becca Tobin.
Hi, guys. We're so excited to be here today.
Yeah.
Heyo.
I hope you're not mad, but my good week, bad week is about both of you.
Okay.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. It's has to do with both of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't be mad. Do you want to do the thing?
Okay. It's time for...
Good week.
Yes, it is.
Bad week. Oh, no.
So I'm going to start with my bad week. My bad week is that we, the Lady Gang, have been robbed of our coins. Recently, a Lady Ganger found it. Do you remember on an episode like 100 years ago? We're sitting right here, and you, for some reason, Becca, were talking about that you were giving up waxing and you were just going to shave yourself with a men's shaver. Mm-hmm. Like a little baby.
No, this was recent.
This was kind of recent, right?
Yeah, not giving up waxing, but I really needed one. Couldn't get there, and I had Zach's little razor trimmer and electric trimmer in the shower, and I was a whole new world.
And then we had big laughs about how you were like a dolphin and all this thing. It was just a very quick little conversation.
Yeah.
Well, the internet took the famous Becca Tobin,
Yep.
star of stage and screen. They AI'd her voice and made an ad for a company that makes razors.
I almost ordered one.
And
I think it worked.
And it's so crazy because she's like, oh my God. And then and they took out Zach's razor and it's your voice saying the Bullion Bloom razor. And it was so great. And then it goes back
It sounds exactly like my voice.
It sounds exactly
crazy.
like your voice.
Crazy.
They covered up anything you said that wasn't about them with like different visuals. And they put it out on as an Instagram ad. And one of our Lady Gang was like, hey, I hope you're getting paid for this. This doesn't seem like this was the conversation you had. And we're like, no. So we went to go try to get it taken down. The Meta, like Facebook company, doesn't have record of this account.
Oh.
Then we tried.
Shady.
Then we went on and then we're like, oh, there's a customer service email. So we emailed them, no response. And there was a phone number. And the phone number is a Google phone that instantly disconnects you.
Really?
Yes. And so it's like,
So it's so sketchy.
It's literally nothing. We don't know if we'll ever get our money.
No, it's taken down. We got an email.
We did?
Yeah,
Just
it's
like
down.
What did they
ago.
say?
They just said it's down.
It's down is all they said?
Ricky, my manager, sent an email that says it's down.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. My good week is we've been working very hard on our YouTube channel. I wouldn't say very hard, but we do post a lot to YouTube, and it's started to pick up steam where a couple thousand people each week will watch, the episodes not on Apple or Spotify. They'll watch the YouTube, which I think is very cool.
Yeah.
But do you know what the number one video that we have created
On YouTube?
on YouTube
A full length
is?
or a YouTube short?
It is a number one overall is what it is.
Which one?
Jack poops her pants.
Well, that tracks.
Relatable.
When did you poop your pants again?
I don't know. I don't know which one it was. There's been so many times.
I was like, it's not any of the housewives. It's not JC Chazet. It's not Luann. It's not my hysterectomy journey. It's literally Jack poops her pants. And then I was like, you know what? I think we need to start doing more clickbaity titles. Because I don't think you actually pooped your pants.
I probably almost shit my pants because I took some sort of something.
Maybe it was the pear. Weren't we talking?
The plum.
The plum. You
That's
almost shit
probably what it
yourself
is.
with the plum?
Yeah.
The share plum?
Well, that's
Anyway.
I'm still scared to
The
take those.
internet is
Well, you didn't take it correctly.
the internet's
Yes, I
terrifying.
did.
I thought you ate the whole thing.
Oh, I did eat the whole thing.
That's
and
not
I took my
correctly.
normal herbs that I usually take.
You're
but
an
I was
idiot.
cleared out.
You're an idiot.
I might do it.
The
You're
internet
so
is
irresponsible.
with us. We're just trying to put out high quality content, and you're making AI Becca and Jack pooping her pants is number one.
Yeah. I love it.
Wasn't manifesting. Okay, Jack.
Okay, so my good week is after I had my surgery, one of my friends sent me, and you're gonna hate this, a squishmallow. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed.
Holding space for Squishmallow. Holding space.
obsessed. There's nothing.
What's your character?
So she sent me a grapefruit because my fibroid was the size of a grapefruit. It was a very rare one, so she had to buy it off of eBay. And they sent it in like one of those like scented garbage bags, which makes
Gross.
everything smell so fucking bad. So I had to get rid of the scent for a bit, but it's so cute. It's huge. So I sleep with it like kind of under my back because I need to get a pregnancy pillow. So I'm like making my own pregnancy pillows.
You're not pregnant though. That sounded like you're pregnant. You
Yeah.
just want to sleep with a pregnancy.
Because
just
I have no uterus and I sleep with a pregnancy pillow because it's amazing.
She said it was a hysterectomy pillow, but it's not. But there's I'm in. I'm in on the
Yes.
Squishmallows. My friends and I are doing a Squishmallow gift exchange because there's so many different characters. We're like sending each other ones that like are
Here's
specific.
why this just doesn't make any sense specifically for you.
Oh,
I think anything that offensive looking in a home,
I don't know where I'm going to store it in my house.
that's the problem.
You have to keep them in your closet. I don't put them out. They're not on my bed.
But when you make your bed every day, then you have to hide the Squishmallow in your closet.
She goes in her seating area in the closet with my
Every
pajamas.
Wait, which one do
day?
you have?
I have the one from Tour, the like little slothy guy.
From Tour.
I got it at the Target.
She
Oh,
was
yes.
ahead of her time.
No, I know she
This
was.
was
for a long
3
time.
years ago.
No,
She's
I-
had a Squishmallow.
Yeah.
I made fun of you, but there's nothing. I actually also looked up on Reddit. I was like, is there a pillow that has the same kind of Squishmallow filling? Because it's the softest
Yeah.
thing I've ever.
But what kind of filling is that?
It's like
it's God.
Chemical.com.
probably,
Yeah.
but isn't everything?
No,
Yeah.
my pillows are all natural now
I mean,
because I'm scared of Squishmallow interior.
it's fine. It's good.
I'll
while
take the
it lasts.
risk. I'll take the risk.
You guys are
Um,
so weird.
And they have all the. It's amazing. There's literally one for everything. Everything
There's
you could
also
ever think
that
of.
new store that you can go and you buy them and they like
Is it like a Build-A-Bear?
no, it's not like a Build-A-Bear. It's like they go and they're like, oh, you're gonna have this one and it's like a donut and then it's a crepe and they like
Oh,
put
I've
it,
seen
oh,
it.
yeah.
They're
they
like
put it in the
cooking
fan
Yeah.
and they pretend it and they're like cuckoo and they put you in and then they're like, here you go.
They're just. I love them. They're just so
Love it.
cute. Okay, so that's my good week. Sorry, Becca.
It's fine.
My
I don't
bad
wanna
week
yuck your yum.
is I got a. Well, you're never gonna yuck my yum with the chemicals in it. There's chemicals in everything.
But that's
We're
considered
dying.
yucking your yum. Not that it worked. I'm saying, but that was me yucking
Oh,
your yum.
you tried to yuck my yum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it
Didn't.
Yeah.
Usually it works.
Not with not
Not with
you.
anything that's like you're going to be healthy because we're all dying from microplastics. My bad week is I got a DM from a random guy and he was like, "Hey, I saw you on Raya. How are you doing?"
Because you're still on there.
I'm still floating around Raya to this day
Why can't you just delete your profile?
because I deleted the app. And I bet you now, because
Put it back on. Reinstall it.
I bet you now I'd have to pay for it.
No.
Because I was like in the beta version of it, so I never had to pay for it. They
So
charge
you
like,
pay for it and then you cancel immediately.
I don't
Are you still paying for it?
know. I never had
Never
to pay
did.
for
No,
it.
I'm saying if you have to log in, no, I bet you can.
No,
just,
I think it's fun. I think
it's fun too.
Yeah, see who hits on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then like people that don't know this story that know you and
See you on
Jared,
Raya.
if they see you on Raya, then that's weirdness.
It's not. I've told him because he
no, obviously he knows.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but then those people are just sitting there feeling like there's
feeling
an
like, oh,
elephant.
she's cheating.
If you ever do the Real Housewives, which I really do think
No, I
you
know.
should,
Whose
then
husband
you'd
did?
have to fix it.
Oh, I'm never doing Real Housewives.
or not, leave it.
Who's-
Fun
Good
story.
storyline.
Whose husband?
All of them.
Oh no, it was Lily Allen and what's his name? The guy from Stranger Things.
He was
still on Raya.
She found out he was cheating on her because he was on Raya.
idiot.
Gross.
So maybe he also tried to delete his
Sicko.
profile a long time ago and he's just floating around.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Was he hot? The guy that reached out?
No.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay, so my good week is the other episode. A few episodes ago, you guys were talking about your renewed love of Pinterest,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And I was about to go out to dinner with a bunch of girls, like 10 of us. And it's very rare that we can all get out at the same time or we're in town and we can whatever. So we were texting with each other and we were like, what do you even wear now? What do you even wear now to go out as a human woman?
Yeah.
Right. And so we kept going back and forth. Is this still cool to wear? Are blazers still even a thing? Or does that give away our millennial? So it's a really weird time to be dressing yourself. Because then you also don't want to look like all the girls that, the like Gen Zers that they've lined up with the same jeans, the same black shirt. Like,
and sometimes you guys, your Austin girls do that.
Wear the same thing?
There's been not the same thing, but it's like
no versions of the same thing.
You look like sister wives a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's one picture from the first time that I moved there where we all had hats on.
Yeah.
So don't say we sometimes do it.
Okay.
Because that's
you've done it once.
You one time did it. You one time did it.
One time we were out at a farm having a dinner and we were all in a hat.
And you gave farm chic.
They were themed.
It pissed a lot of people off. A lot of my friends, that was a very triggering picture for them to see because they thought that I just like moved to Texas.
You changed.
Suddenly changed. And I was like, no, I was taking care of my face from the sun. But we just don't know what to wear anymore at this age. And so I said to the group, well, Kelty and Jack said they get a lot of inspo for a lot of things on Pinterest.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't think I'm going to find a cute outfit to wear out on Pinterest, but I said, I'm going to give it a shot. And I did. It took me a while to figure out what to search.
You got to get in the algorithm.
Right. But I have to say it was the most inspired I've ever been.
Oh.
The freshest takes on fashion that I've seen in a while.
What did you search? What was your personal search?
Well, Jamie, I made fun of her for like 45 minutes because her suggestion was mom's night out. And I said, don't you ever say mom's, and I've not let her live it down. And then I did like girls' night out, chic dinner outfits over 30. Because there were some weird Gen Z options that were coming through. And then it was something ended up being like New York City, something in like urban New York City evening, winter night out. Because you also have to go with the season you're in, because then it'll give you specifics for the season.
Yeah.
So that was a real win, guys.
All right.
Thank
she
you
loves Pinterest.
I doubted you guys and you were right.
So good.
You were right.
I'm always right.
My bad week is that Ford had RSV, which is this like respiratory thing, which is just such a pain in the ass. It's really dangerous for babies, but for toddlers, it's actually okay. It just lingers forever. So he had this cough that would not stop. And one of those worst days of his cough, he was not contagious anymore. They just have like 2 weeks of this thing. I take him to breakfast with my friend Odette and her daughter, who's his age, and they both have the same cough. So I'm like, they're just going to be gross together. So we're sitting there, we're trying to enjoy our breakfast, and Ford has this coughing fit, and he keeps coughing. And I look over and I'm like, are you okay? Are you choking? And all of a sudden he coughs and puke starts spewing out of his mouth, and I start catching it with my hands because otherwise it's going to go all over the restaurant, and it's not paper napkins they have there. It's fabric napkins, cloth napkins. So I catch his vomit in my hands, his hot vomit.
Oh no.
With pancakes in it. And I was just like, this is the first time I've ever been puked on in my life.
Well, I'm sure there's more to come.
I know.
I'm actually shocked it's been the first time you've been puked on.
I am too. I mean, he would spit up when he was a baby, but that's not even the same. Projectile.
Yeah.
And like hot.
On that note, we have a hot comment coming up next.
Hot.
The Lady Gang.
So Chelsea's here, and I'm going to introduce her in a second, but I want to let you know that Becca's late today because what a time to be childless. It's school drop-off, and Rosa the nanny has not arrived. And so Becca cannot hop on the Lady Gang podcast yet because she's with her child. Chelsea, this is why we didn't have children.
So that's such a lame excuse. Actually, it's almost one of the best reasons to have a child is to be able to be like, I have to go pick them up or drop them off, or they're having a tantrum. Like, it's actually a great insurance for getting out of stuff.
Oh, yeah, nobody's going to question it. You're like, no thanks.
So that aspect that I was completely not even thinking of.
Totally. And also, like I just had a birthday party this past weekend and Jack didn't come, but it's just because she didn't want to. But other friends were like, I can't because it's at bedtime. And I was like, well, okay, that's weird. But anyway, so I'm looking for more childless wonder friends if you.
Right. I hear you. You either have to catch women, like now there's a whole new generation of women who are not interested in having children. So that's
yes.
And then you can also catch women once their kids are like out of that
12.
age.
Yeah.
And then they're not like so obsessed with them and talking about them all the time.
Yeah.
That's a good age. 12 is still a little young though. Like you kind of want them to, you need some older girlfriends that have adult children.
At 12, they're still doing like plays and shit that you don't want to hear
You're
about.
right. It's like basketball and stuff. Okay, well, let me introduce you so everyone knows why you're here because we've got a book to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Our guest today is the icon of our lives, the blueprint for every opinionated basic bitch out there, the woman who made being yourself something we could all be. She is the biggest comedian in the world with her own sold-out residency in Las Vegas, a TV host, television host who just crushed hosting the Critics' Choice Awards again this year, a 6-time New York Times bestselling author with a brand new book, I'll Have What She's Having, which is out today. She's also, no big deal, got a brand new Netflix special, The Feeling, which will be out March 25th. In addition to that, she hosts her own podcast, Dear Chelsea, and she's back on LadyGang today so that we can collectively celebrate her 50th birthday. Happy birthday to Chelsea. You're the best in the world. Welcome back to the LadyGang.
Happy birthday.
Kelsey, let me just say that intro made me climax. That was really something else. Very, very professional and very well done.
Thank you so much.
I can't believe that you have written 7 books. We wrote 2 and it almost freaking killed us.
I know, you guys. I don't know how any of us do the things that we do, but you kind of just you have an assignment and then you get it done, and then it's in the rearview window, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you have 7 books you've done. And I can tell you, every single time I've written a book, I'm like, this is the last time I'm going to do this, and then there you go again.
Yeah,
and I also like. This last time having to really think about what I was going to write about, like not just like the book came, I'll just start talking since
Please.
The book came about when I had fallen in love with Joe Coy. So like the book was originally supposed to be about a love story and I'm so jealous that you have Celsius. I'm in Canada. We don't have that here.
Oh my God, I'm going to Canada tonight. They don't?
You are? Oh, not where I am. I haven't seen it, but
where are you? In a hotel somewhere? Sorry.
I'm in Whistler. I'm in my little.
No big deal.
Well, I'm going close. I'm going to Edmonton, which is near Whistler, sort of. Alberta, mountains.
Yeah, not nearly as fun, but good luck with that anyway.
Total shitty area. Okay, bye.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I said that.
I'm American. I don't speak like that about my Canadian region.
No, why would you?
So the book originally was supposed to be about me falling in love. Like everyone was so happy for us, and I had never really been that way publicly with a man. So that was the concept of the book initially. And then when we broke up, I was like, well, wait a second, let me give you back the book deal. Like, I'm not writing a book about this now, And so I didn't really have to write the book. I was like, okay, well, this is not going to be about that. And my editor said, why don't you just sit with it for a few months and see if there's anything. She goes, what about a book about breaking up in a new way? Like in a way, the first kind of mature breakup I had as an adult. We always want to, but they're like
conscious uncoupling.
Yeah.
And you act like an asshole and you do all the things and drunk dial and drive by and say stupid shit and you're vindictive. At least I was in my previous breakups, not my best self. So I was like, oh, I could write a book about being, like breaking up in a new, more graceful way. And I'm like, I'm not writing an entire book about that. And then that got me thinking, oh, that's part of my story. It's no longer my story, like my love story. It's just one of my stories. It's part of my story. And then that got me thinking, okay, we don't really ever think about, as adult women, what we thought we were going to be when we were little girls, like the dreams we had for ourselves and the kind of woman we were going to grow up into. Like, we don't spend a lot of time talking about that. And I don't think many of us are reflecting enough about, like, are we on the track we thought we'd be on? Are we fulfilling these dreams and goals that we had? And or have we done all of it that we thought you set out to do, or have we done none of it? Like it's kind of an interesting concept. So that's how then the book, I was like, okay, this is good because it's all about where I was as a child, who I was, which I believe is really the basic essence of who we all are, is who we are as children before the world, shits on us and gets our heart broken and, all of the things that come with being alive. But like when you're a child, that innocence and that essence is really unbesmirched. That's who you are.
Yeah, no, it's 100% true. And you said something that I'm jumping to like the end of my questions because you just brought this up, but you said something. I always like to like go through a book and pick out the paragraphs or the lines that like really stick with us. And you said something that said, my last relationship before therapy, I don't think you're talking about Joe in this, but you said my last relationship before therapy was a toxic one with a man who I was madly in love with, but who I just didn't like very much.
Ugh.
Like, can you deep dive into that a bit? Because I think we've all been there. Like, Jack and I's mutual ex-boyfriend was definitely someone I was madly in love with. But like, I knew my right brain was like, you're the worst person in the world. I don't even like you. I don't like the way you do life. I don't like the way you treat people. I don't like the way you smell. But like, I'm in love with you.
Yeah, I think lots of us have experienced that. You know, you would never be friends with that person, but you would date them.
Yes.
I don't like you, but I love you.
Yeah. When people are like, why aren't you friends with any of your ex-boyfriends? I'm like, because I wouldn't be friends with any of my ex-boyfriends.
No.
They're there for like boyfriends. That's it. That's their only role in my life. Boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. But I think it's just a sign of immaturity and not even immaturity, because that has just such a negative kind of connotation within what we're talking about. I think it has to do with really not being secure as women, you know. We don't really grow into ourselves until our 30s. Some of us not until our 50s. Some of us never, you know. Like, there's a whole spectrum of growth, and like what we're willing to tolerate like we conflate what falling in love and like lust and like obsessive thoughts are, you know. Being obsessed with someone and thinking like about them nonstop and, you know, having it run you is not necessary. That's just like being obsessed with someone.
Yeah.
Love, and you don't have to like the person you're obsessed with. That can be anybody. So sometimes it's better not to ever even like that. It's like, you know, having a crush on a celebrity. Like, better to not know than to get up
Do
close.
not meet them. And speaking
Never
of
meet your
celebrities,
heroes.
Becca's child has gone to school. I'm bringing her in.
Sorry, don't have kids.
We already covered it.
Okay, Chelsea, I want to talk quickly about Critics' Choice because you absolutely like killed it. Do you get nervous? Do you like where's your head going into? Because it was the third year and it was, you know, you actually it ruined my. I don't even want to tell this story. Chelsea, this is me in a nutshell, but I can't believe I'm telling this.
Why are you telling this?
No, I'm not going
It's
to.
so embarrassing.
What say her? I'm talking about me. Tell her.
No. Anyway, it was the Critics' Choice Awards, which I was so excited about that you're hosting because you're a star. But I got asked to do the interviews on the red carpet for E! Live, which is a big deal because even though I host E! News, I don't get to do E! Live. And I was really excited about it. And then the fires happened and we moved it. And then you moved it to the Sunday, the 26th. And then they moved it again. And then they canceled the E! Live red carpet. And I was like, well, I was basically Sutton on Real Housewives when Dorit's house got broken into. And she's like, I also had a hard day. I had to manage people washing my windows all day. Like, I was that girl. And it's fine. But anyway, it was a stressful situation for you, Chelsea, because the Critics' Choice Awards has become, you know, the fourth, you know, there was always the big three. It was Golden Globes, SAGs, and Oscars. And Critics' Choice has become now more important than the Golden Globes because it is the people who vote for the Oscars. So you get every star. The stars that did not go to the Globes, they go to the Critics' Choice Award. It is a very, very, very important event. And it got kind of this year moved around for a good reason. But you came out and you did a great job.
Thank you. I love that, like those doing that show, like hosting that show. It's really fun for me to, you know, there was all the fire, we had the background of the fire. So it was very kind of chaotic about I flew in the day of the fire to prep for that weekend from Whistler because, you know, I spend my winters in Whistler. And so I flew in, the fires were happening. We had a writer's meeting in our room. We're like going through it. Meanwhile, I had to check into a hotel because my street was evacuated as well. And I'm like, it just doesn't seem like we're going to have an award show this weekend, guys. Like, this seems like pretty serious. But we were moving forward like we were because that's how you have to do it. But and then it got postponed, and then it got postponed again. And then it was like, okay, what kind of tribute are we going to make to the fires? You know, because the Grammys had happened, the telethon had happened. And it's like, this happened to California. This didn't happen to the rest of the world. Like, you don't want it to be such a bummer and so heavy, even though, of course, it is for all of us. And the Angelinos, it's kind of like, you don't want that to run the evening. So it ended up being great in terms of there was enough space in between the things that we didn't have to, like, we of course honored all the first responders that were there, but also tonally for the night, I wanted really people. We've been through so much this year, and
we need to celebrate.
And I love to go in and set the tone for a room that size and say, this is what we're going to do now. Like, first, we're going to be serious and pay tribute to the first responders. And then we did a reset. I started my monologue. I'm like, now we're going to get stupid, And
Oh, yeah.
and like, that is my skill set. So it really gives me a lot of pleasure to know that I'm capable of doing that. So as far as nerves go, I'm kind of too old for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited and I want to do well.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, of course, but I'm not, I know I'm going to do well.
Boom. How's your health? Are you okay? Because we kind of like, you glossed over it on the Critics' Choice Awards. You're like, I've got a thing in my arm. And I was like, okay, yeah, what's going on?
Mess, but I'm on the mend. I had an infection in my shoulder.
Oh.
They had to surgically go in and clean out. And now I have an IV, a PICC line in my arm because I have to get intravenous drugs every 24 hours for 6 weeks because of the infection in my shoulder. So that was 2 weeks before Critics' Choice. So I am now on the mend, getting my movement back. Like, you can see, I can't completely lift my arm yet, but I'm on the mend. I'm getting healthy, and I'm about to shoot my birthday video, my annual birthday ski video tomorrow.
Yes.
Are you feeling confident? This is a big one. You got to do something extra special, extra naked.
Something extra special. It's a whole thing we have planned. It's a massive shoot and it's a massive undertaking. So I'm just saving my body and my health for that. I got to knock that out. And then I have a huge, month of promotion stuff and all that stuff. So, but I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. But I got really knocked down on my ass. But again, with evidence of your life and all of the situations you've been through, I knew I'll be fine. I'll get through it. Like, I'll be fine. I'll wear something around my arm during the Critics' Choice and just make a joke about it. Like, I'm not going to let it, like, I'm not going to cancel or be like, I can't do it. I can do it.
No, and I was like, this bitch is not even wearing a sleeve. She was like, no, I'm not changing my dress.
Yeah, the dress was too hot. I was like, whatever. For sure.
All right. So the new book, I'll Have What She's Having, available today. Today is pub day. We're with Chelsea on pub day. Now, this is very interesting to me. You open the book. I think when you've written 7 books, you run out of people to dedicate them to in your life. And so you're like, you know what? Parents are good. Friends are good. The dogs are good. Let me dedicate this book to...
Her parents are dead, Kelty.
Oh, you're right. You're right. We talked about that the last time we were here. I'm so sorry.
Not dedicate. Well, I could dedicate it to them, but they're not going to see it.
Yeah. So don't waste that. Don't waste that. So you gave it to the airline staff.
But that's relegating, that's diminishing to flight attendants, because I have a long-standing relationship with flight attendants after what I saw them go through during COVID. I just couldn't believe the abuse that these people endure. They did not sign up to be like they don't take Krav Maga. Like, they're not be like fighting crime in the sky. What they had to do.
That's a good show though.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. It's a great idea for a show. But they deserve a lot more respect than they get, especially because they think you're basically a server, but you're trapped in the air with all these people who are farting for fucking 5 hours. Then on top of it, you're being treated like shit. So I've always had a soft spot for flight attendants, and I've given them deals for when I tour. They always get a discount, or one year they all got a discount anyway. They got free tickets one year to my show, all my shows. If you were a flight attendant, you got in for free. But so I wasn't really out of anybody to dedicate it to. I can always, make someone's day in my life. Like, one of my personal friends or family members would love that. but I just don't dole that out so easily. You really have to earn it.
You have to earn it the way a flight attendant does. Well, you said in this, the opening, you said, I've seen someone drying their underwear on a plane. Now, we have talked many times about things that have happened on plane. We've talked about things that we've done on planes, barfing, pooping, all the things that we've done. I've never seen anyone drying an underwear. Can you just describe that to us? Because we love an underwear mishap. Like, I want to know exactly what was happening.
This woman had her underwear out. Someone sent a picture. The people send me all these.
Oh, okay.
Instagram.
So this was by proxy.
Yes, this was by proxy. Sorry, that wasn't a first person, but someone sent me a picture and there was a woman in front of her with her underwear hanging on the little lip of the seat cover.
Oh my God.
As she was fanning it. Dry it. Meanwhile, I've had wet underwear on a plane. Like I once went to the bathroom in my underwear on a plane. And I went to the toilet and forgot to pull down my underwear because I had a face mask on. So I pulled down the face and like completely mixed up the areas and just peed right into my underwear. Like I would have loved to know that I could just take my underwear off, bring it back to my seat, hang it up and wave at it. And while my urine was wafting through the first class cabin.
It is so insane that airplanes and airports are truly the Wild West. Like people just like let down their guards and do the craziest shit.
I like confrontation. And when a flight attendant gets into it with a flight, like with a passenger, I will always like step up and be like, excuse me, asshole, you are being an asshole. You can't treat her like that. Like that gives me so much joy.
I mean, as we discussed when you came on, you have a lot of things going on, so you're not available for this, but there is like a Kathy Bates Matlock in the Sky role for you that I feel like there's like an FBI and it's Chelsea and it's like the undercover lady who you
The
just think is like
vigilante.
Yes.
Be like that, like to play some ass kicker. That would really actually be a great outlet for all of my rage and anger.
100%.
So that, like, yeah, like some sort of Angela Lansbury type. Like, what was that movie?
Murder, She Wrote?
No, not that one. Like Electra meets Angela Lansbury
meets snakes on a plane.
Something like that.
Yes.
But it's the snakes. I fucking hate snakes.
Okay. All right. So the other thing, I mean, there's so many things I want to talk. This book is so good. And if you love like we've talked about this before, you've been on the podcast before. My Horizontal Life was like the book that got us all into reading books. And that was your first book. And if you loved that book and if you loved all the books along the way, I think you've given us, you didn't change it. You didn't reinvent the wheel. You just gave us more of what exactly we love, which is like the perfect time, the perfect book. It's a bath book. It's a beach book. It's a plane book. It's a sitting while your kids are doing gymnastics book. Like it's the perfect little book that you can pick up in these pieces and read these stories. And you have this story about doing focus groups when you needed money in LA. Now, I was dying when you told this story, Chelsea, because I created a show a couple years ago and I got railed by the focus groups. The focus groups could not have hated me more, to the point where it actually was the demise of the show. After the focus groups, the network was like, well, they hate Kelty. So we're just going to put this in like 2 years. We'll put it on at 4 a.m. It's great. So
were they honest with you that they said that the audience hated you?
Well, here's the great part. I was an executive producer, so I got to watch the focus groups.
And she was the host, so she heard all the feedback about her on camera work.
Real time
feedback.
Yeah. Like it was terrible. It's a kind of trauma. I'm still working through it.
Yeah, I'm not done asking you questions now. Do you take that, did you take that hard?
Yeah, I did. And you know what? The girls were great because Becca and Jack, like they really know me and they know how annoying I can be and publicly annoying when I get nervous or I get excited. Like right now on this podcast, like this is not the real Kelty. This is like, I'm excited to talk to Chelsea Handler and I'm not normal. I can't rein it in. So it's like that. And they were just like, listen, they were really, really good. And then my stylist was like, you know, they really hated the clothes. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to like really show out and show up. The looks. And they were like, this girl looks very uncomfortable. And I was like, this is one of a kind, Alex Perry, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and anyway, so it was
critics was Alex Perry, that purplish.
It was beautiful. Like the most beautiful clothes.
Yeah. So
It was terrible.
Well, Kelty has an enthusiasm. Like she just brings a really enthusiastic, genuine. It's never forced. And I think for people who are slightly dead inside at focus groups, that energy is obnoxious to them because they can't imagine ever being that happy. And
she choked on a Celsius, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, she has like 4 a day.
We've been working through this too. It actually calms her down. So I think she needs to be medicated properly. But she has a strong point of view, a strong energy. I feel like you're very similar, where people either want to have 10 servings of you, or they absolutely never want to see you on their screens. I mean, those people, we know who they are. We know the trolls that they are. But
yeah,
you must have good advice for someone like Kelty, who's a really, really specific type of person.
I do. I would say, because it sounds like we are from analogous in a sense, outgoing, and really you have a strong POV. I would say this though. I would say as we grow up, and how old are you, Kelty?
For just turned 43.
Okay. Perfect. So we're always evolving, and that means our performance and our on-camera persona also is evolving. So it's notes like that. Yeah, you can let them roll off your back like water off a duck's back, be like, okay, doesn't matter. But you can also take a little and be like, okay, there's some room for improvement in this area. It doesn't have to be earth shattering. You're going to be really grateful for it once enough time passes. So even I say this about good stuff, and I say this about negative stuff, whether it's good feedback or negative feedback, it's good to have a little. Don't overdose yourself with it, but it's good to have a little, because we always are getting better at doing our jobs. So there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that also anyway, thank you, Chelsea Handler.
I heard you on Dax Shepard's podcast recently, and you were talking about how you've kind of gotten quieter. Is that part of the adjustment that you're talking about, Chelsea?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've gotten quieter while remaining everyone knows exactly what I'm thinking, but I don't even have to say it really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's probably the trajectory that you're on too, Kelty.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And I think it was just I think sometimes in life, and this is very generalized, sorry to make it about me, but in generalized womanhood, it's people make fun of on TikTok the pick me girl. And I think I'm using this wrong, Jack. So I'm sorry to embarrass you with your TikTokness, but it's the love me, want me, need me, look at me.
Why am I like
me.
that?
No. I think I used pick me girl, but you're going to say that's not what a pick me girl is, because it's a different thing. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's love me, want me, pick me, think I'm sparkly, all these things. And that actually works backwards to what you want when you just sit in it and you just radiate it and you're just magnetic. I think that whole thing that I went through with that show was the end of my super desperation and into my 40s. I think that's a beautiful thing about 40s. And I wanted to ask you about turning 50 as well. My 40s so far have just been this great, wonderful acceptance of I don't need you to really love me anymore. And I don't need to sit at tables that there's no seat for me. I don't want to sit in the cool girls club. I just want to be rich, and I want to be with my family and I want to be successful on my own. And I don't need everyone to know about it. And I don't need everyone to be excited about me or talking about me or being on the list or being at the table or invited to the cool party. My own success and my own happiness is enough. That's a 40s thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel that in your 40s?
Yeah, I feel, I mean, I had a kind of reverse growth edge. I think I was more mature in my 20s and 30s, and then I took a dip in my 40s. I had to do a recalibration and with find out who I kind of lost track of the woman I wanted to become. I kind of fell off the track and was wait, I became insecure. I kind of went through what most people go through in their 20s in my early 40s. So it was a little bit unsettling and destabilizing, but also, again, just another step into the direction that you're moving in. And it's kind of a necessary step, even though that kind of stuff hurts and and it's kind of not, fun, it's worthwhile, and everything is worthwhile. And then at a certain point, you realize like everything, like you have to own your oneness. Like you have to own, no one is you. And that's your advantage in life. So make that as great as you can make it, And then you're not competing with anyone. You don't have to look over your shoulder and see if you're not at the cool table, because you are the cool table.
Ooh.
Make it a shirt. Okay, last thing I want to ask you about. In your new book, I'll Have What She's Having, you tell this amazing Jane Fonda story. Jane Fonda gave you some tough, tough love. And this is perfect for the Lady Gang, because we, over the past decade of podcasting, have gotten so good at calling each other out on our shit and like really being sisters in that way. Can you you have to get the book to read the story, but can you briefly talk about like, of all the people I wouldn't want to like call me out on my shit, Jane Fonda's like at the top.
No, right. So I went to a party of hers. And then I forgot about it. Like I didn't know anything was wrong. And then she's kind of emailed me out of the blue one day and kind of summoned me to her house for dinner. And I said, of course, yeah, when, and she's like, tonight. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm in trouble, like I'm going to the principal's office almost. So I go over to her house for dinner. I don't order a drink, like her server or butler or whomever came over, and I was like, no, I'm going to be, really sober for this and like make sure I know what's going on here. And she basically read me for being an asshole at her party a few months prior, that I was angry and on drugs and was rude to multiple people, were upset with me. And I was like, I couldn't even believe it. I was sitting there across from her thinking, what the how did you get in this situation, you loser? Jane Fonda upset with you for being a bitch at her party. Like, what is your problem? Luckily, I had just started therapy, like real therapy for like, I don't know, maybe 2 months in, but enough to know not to defend myself, enough to know to apologize and accept whatever she was telling me. Because if she had gotten me 2 months earlier, I would have been like defensive. You know what I mean? Probably. And so I had enough therapy to understand that if you're arguing about something, you're usually wrong. Like if you're right, you don't need to argue. You're right. So that's good enough. You don't need to prove to everyone that you're right, So when she said that, I just was mortified, of course. And I was like, oh my God.
Did she do it in like full Jane Fonda?
Yeah, she wasn't yelling at me. She was just like curious. Like, why would you come out if you were in a mood like that? Why would you do that? And then also she was like, you're really talented. You're going to blow it. Like you're blow it if you act like this. And that was really scary too, of course. But what I really took from that in that moment, even as painful as it was sisterhood. Was the fact that she took time out of her day, which she did not have to do. She could have just avoided me for the rest of our lives. She took time out of her day to invite me over to her house to say that to me. And I was like, wow, that's badass. Like that's really somebody who gives a shit. And it was a blueprint for me kind of for the rest of my life. Like that's the kind of woman I want to be, someone who has the difficult conversations and doesn't shy away from helping another woman out when they're not seeing themselves clearly.
That's amazing. Wow. Did
So
you
crazy.
feel like there was an adjustment to be made after the conversation, or did she genuinely just get you on a horrible night? Because we've all had those.
No, there was an adjustment. I mean, I think when you do drugs and alcohol, if you're in a good space and you're in a good headspace, then you're fine.
Yeah.
If you're not in a good headspace and you add drugs and alcohol, that's not a good combo. So she was absolutely right. I was going through something. I was really angry and rageful during that time. And luckily I had started therapy because of that very reason. But a nice check in to understand how you're coming across. Sometimes we lose all self-awareness, and self-awareness is the key ingredient to being cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So true.
We had Michael Yo on the podcast just a few weeks ago. He had a new comedy special, and he was here to promote it. And he always speaks so highly of you. And I asked him if we can have Chelsea Lately again, and he said, and I said, do you think that they would ever do it again? He goes, well, they'll never get her. They'll never get her. Now,
It's
Chelsea,
all we want.
I know.
it's all we want.
Anybody wants.
And
I'm
listen,
missing
you
it from
did
my
Critics. Here's what I'm just going to say this. You did Critics' Choice which was on E this year. You're on the Lady Gang podcast. I'm like one of the only 2 employees at E. You could come on right after E News with Justin and Kelty. You could be 11:30. It would be so sexy, Chelsea. Come back.
I'll never say never because I never know what I'll do, but I just can't picture myself being tethered to any
I know, it's so hard.
or job. Like I like to bounce around the world. So while that would be fun, it really would have to be worth my while.
Yeah.
And not much is.
You're not going to winter in Whistler from the E News studio. I'll tell you that right now.
Maybe
Okay.
they'll set up a Whistler studio for you.
Yeah, that would be nice.
You should just do it like real, like shitty style, like not even a studio. It's just on your camera. Wherever Chelsea is in the world, she does like a Chelsea check-in at 11:30 and she just like tells us shit for 30 minutes and then goes off. That's all we want. I guess you could do that on Instagram.
TikTok.
Sounds much more appealing. Like I could do that from wherever I am and rant and rave for 30 minutes and then go to sleep.
Bye. Good night.
Yeah, that's ideal.
Right after I take my Xanax. Right after my edible and a Xanax.
It's honestly perfection. Okay, so the new book, I'll Have What She's Having, is available right now. Chelsea is 50 today. Please wish her a happy birthday. And the last thing I wanted to leave us all with is a beautiful quote from your book that made me cry. She said, so often we are ready to give up or throw in the towel when right around the corner, there's a pocket of sunshine we hadn't known was headed straight for us. Even in my lowest moments, I keep my head geared toward the sky because I'm no longer in the business of missing rainbows.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Wow. Thank you, Kelty.
You have such a sweet heart.
Thank you. We all do. We're all real sweet deep down.
Deep.
The book
deep,
is fantastic.
deep.
Becca, Jack, I didn't let you talk because I fangirled. Do you have anything you want to say really quick?
No, I'm good.
Don't worry, we're doing a focus group on this interview.
Yes, we are. It's not going to bode well for you, Kelty. No, we're all, how Kelty was saying, like, we're all like, just nerds when you come on the podcast because you've been a person that all 3 of us and I think I could speak for all the women that listen to this podcast, like just a tentpole in our existence. Like You've represented so many wonderful qualities that I think women were really shying away from for a while and shamed for a while. So you've empowered many generations, but certainly ours. And happy birthday.
Yeah, we
Happy
love you.
birthday, Chelsea Handler. And
Thank you, Jax. I'm Jack. Sorry.
We call her Jax sometimes. It's okay. Like the dirtbag from Vanderpump.
Whatever you want to call me, it's great.
Well, I love you girls. Thank you for having me on.
happy
you.
birthday. And we will
See you next
see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday.